The 19th century Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky was born into a noble family in Ukraine. As a child, young Helena displayed a gift for clairvoyance as well as an interest in metaphysical phenomena. Years later, she traveled throughout Europe, the Middle East, and India, studying with various teachers and Sufi saints. Following the guidance of an Indian yogi named Mahatma Maurya, Madame Blavatsky co-founded the Theosophical Society. Theosophy, meaning divine wisdom, refers to knowledge that comes through spiritual experience rather than intellectual understanding alone. The Theosophical Society is dedicated to uplifting humanity through a realization of the oneness of life and the wisdom underlying all religions. Madame Blavatsky wrote several important books on theosophy, including Isis Unveiled, The Secret Doctrine, The Key to Theosophy, and The Voice of the Silence. The Secret Doctrine, published in 1888, has been acknowledged by many as one of the most remarkable books in the world. It is considered the Bible of Theosophy and the source book of esoteric tradition. Offering insight into the origin and evolution of the universe, the Secret Doctrine also details an account of root races dating back millions of years. Although she was considered the author of the Secret Doctrine, Madame Blavatsky often expressed that she only conveyed the ancient wisdom that was passed on to her. The true authors of the work were her teachers, the Mahatmas, or great souls who were the guardians of the secret wisdom of the ages. Today on Words of Wisdom, we invite you to join us for excerpts from the Sons of God and the Sacred Island in Madame Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine. The Sons of God and the Sacred Island. The legend given in Isis, wisdom religion, in relation to a portion of the globe which science now concedes to have been the cradle of humanity, though it is but one of the 7 cradles in truth, ran, condensed, and now explained as follows. Tradition says, and the records of the great book, the Book of John, explain that long before the days of Adam and his inquisitive wife Eve where now are found but salt lakes and desolate barren deserts, there was a vast inland sea which extended over Middle Asia, north of the proud Himalayan range and its western prolongation. An island which for its unparalleled beauty had no rival in the world, was inhabited by the last remnant of the race which preceded ours. The last remnant meant the sons of will and yoga, who with a few tribes survived the great cataclysm. For it is the third race which inhabited the great Lemurian continent that preceded the veritable and complete human races, the fourth and the fifth. Therefore, it was said in Isis, wisdom religion, that this race could live with equal ease in water, air, or fire, for it had an unlimited control over the elements. These were the sons of God, not those who saw the daughters of men, but the real Elohim, though in the Oriental Kabbalah they have another name. It was they who imparted nature's most weird secrets to man and revealed to them the ineffable and now lost word. The island, according to belief, exists to the present hour as an oasis surrounded by the dreadful wildernesses of the great desert, the Gobi, whose sands no foot hath crossed in the memory of man. This word, which is no word, has traveled once around the globe and still lingers as a far-off dying echo in the hearts of some privileged men. The Hierophants, of all the sacerdotal colleges were aware of the existence of this island. But the word was known only to the Java Alaim Mahakohan in another tongue, or chief lord of every college, and was passed to his successor only at the moment of death. There were many such colleges, and the old classic authors speak of them. There was no communication with the fair island by sea, but subterranean passages known only to the chiefs communicated with it in all directions. Tradition asserts, and archaeology accepts the truth of the legend that there is more than one city now flourishing in India, which is built on several other cities, making thus a subterranean city of 6 or 7 stories high. Delhi is one of them, Allahabad another, examples of this being found even in Europe. For example, in Florence, which is built on several defunct Etruscan and other cities. Why then could not Ellora, Elephanta, Kali, and Ajunta have been built on subterranean labyrinths and passages as claimed? Of course, we do not allude to the caves which are known to every European, whether with one's own eyes or through hearsay. Notwithstanding their enormous antiquity, though that is so disputed by modern archaeology. But it is a fact known to the initiated Brahmins of India, and especially to yogis, that there is not a cave temple in the country, but has its subterranean passages running in every direction, and that those underground caves and endless corridors have in their turn their caves and corridors. Who can tell that the lost Atlantis, which is also mentioned in the secret book, but again under another name pronounced in the sacred language, did not exist yet in those days? We went on to ask. It did exist most assuredly, as it was fast approaching its greatest days of glory and civilization when the last of the Lemurian continents went down. The great lost continent might have perhaps been situated south of Asia, extending from India to Tasmania. If the hypothesis, now so much doubted and positively denied by some learned authors who regard it as a joke of Plato's, is ever verified, then perhaps will the scientists believe that the description of the God-inhabited continent was not altogether a fable, and they may then perceive that Plato's guarded hints and his attributing the narrative to Solon and the Egyptian priests were but the prudent way of imparting the fact to the world, and by cleverly combining truth and fiction, so disconnecting himself from a story which the obligations imposed at initiation forbade him to divulge. To continue the tradition, we have to add that the class of Hierophants was divided into 2 distinct categories: those who were instructed by the sons of God of the island, and who were initiated in the divine doctrine of pure revelation, and others who inhabited the lost Atlantis, if such must be its name, and who, being of another race, born sexually but of divine parents, were born with a sight which embraced all living things, and was independent of both distance and material obstacle. In short, they were the 4th race of men mentioned in the Popol Vuh, whose sight was unlimited and who knew all things at once. In other words, they were the Lemura Atlanteans, the first who had a dynasty of spirit kings, not of manes or ghosts as some believe, but of actual living devas or demigods or angels again, who had assumed bodies to rule over them, and who, in their turn, instructed them in arts and sciences. Only as they were rupa or material spirits, these Dhyanis were not always good. Their king Tivetata was one of the latter, and it is under the evil influence of this king demon that the Atlantis race became a nation of wicked magicians. In consequence of this, war was declared, the story of which would be too long to narrate. Its substance may be found in the disfigured allegories of the race of Cain, the giants, and that of Noah and his righteous family. The conflict came to an end by the submersion of the Atlantis, which finds its imitation in the stories of the Babylonian and Mosaic flood. The giants and magicians and all flesh died, and every man, all except Xisutros and Noah, who are substantially identical with the great father of the Tlingithians in the Popol Vuh, or the sacred book of the Guatemalans, which also tells of his escaping in a large boat like the Hindu Noah, Vaivasvata. Delightful viewers, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today on Words of Wisdom.